Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're here for this deep dive, I'm guessing you're interested in natural remedies for, well, tougher emotional stuff, like depression or grief.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how long people have looked to nature for help with these kinds of things. For centuries, really.
Right. So we're going to take a deep dive into all that today. Our source is this great article called Healing with Nature, Great Herbs for Depression and Grief. And I think we should jump right in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so first up is St. John's wort. And I think most people have heard of this one,
Hmm.
but maybe not exactly sure what it does.
Well, it's pretty well known for possibly helping with mild to moderate depression, and it all comes down to how it affects your brain chemistry.
Oh, interesting.
So think of your brain like a city. Okay, messages are constantly being sent back and forth, and some of the most important messengers for keeping your mood up are serotonin and dopamine.
Okay, I'm following.
St. John's wort might help increase the number of these messengers, and that can make those positive signals stronger and clearer.
So it's like amplifying the good vibes.
Exactly.
I love that. Now, the article did mention something about talking to your doctor before using St. John's wort.
Absolutely. It's super important. Herbs can be powerful allies, but they can also interact with some medications.
Right, so better safe than sorry. Always good advice. Okay, moving on. This next one, ashwagandha. For some reason, I always picture like a wise old guru when I hear that name.
You know, it's funny you say that. Ashwagandha does have a long history in traditional medicine, especially in Ayurveda.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. So I know it's an adaptogen, but what does that actually mean?
Think of ashwagandha like your bodyguard, but for stress.
Interesting.
So instead of masking the symptoms, it actually helps your body build up resistance. It's like a shield that protects you from feeling overwhelmed.
I could definitely use some of that.
Right. And it's not just stress. Ashwagandha might also help stabilize moods and even help with anxiety, sleep, and energy levels.
Which is all really important when you're going through a tough time.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we've got the stress buster covered, but what about something to help us feel more relaxed? I mean, who doesn't love the scent of lavender?
Oh, yeah. Lavender's a classic.
But does it actually do anything, or is it just a nice smell?
Oh, no. It definitely does more than just smell good. Aromatherapy with lavender has been used for ages to ease anxiety. And there's good reason for that. It's like, imagine you've had a long, stressful day, and you sink into a warm bath with some lavender essential oil.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about creating a little bit of peace in the middle of chaos.
A little reset button for your emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Okay, up next is a very familiar friend, chamomile. We all know it as a sleepy time tea, but I'm guessing there's more to it than that.
Oh, definitely. Chamomile is all about gentle comfort and easing anxiety,
Okay,
which can be so valuable when you're dealing with grief or just feeling emotionally drained.
so it's like a warm hug in a mug. I like that. Okay, so we've talked about soothing and calming, but what about herbs that can help us feel stronger and more resilient? The article mentions rhodiola, another adaptogen.
Yes, rhodiola is all about boosting that resilience.
How so?
Well, it can help fight fatigue and lift your mood, especially if you're dealing with long-term stress or grief. And get this, it might even improve mental clarity.
Wow, okay, that's impressive.
Uh-huh.
Especially when you're feeling overwhelmed. Clarity is super important.
Absolutely.
Now, on to lemon balm. Just the name sounds refreshing and uplifting, like a minty mood booster.
Well, lemon balm is actually part of the mint family,
Ah,
and it's known for its calming properties. It's been used traditionally to soothe anxiety and encourage relaxation.
interesting.
And you can try it in different forms, teas, tinctures, even topical balms.
Wow,
And yeah, the scent and flavor are definitely
I
uplifting.
bet. Okay, let's talk about passion flower. What a beautiful name.
I know, right? And it really lives up to its name when it comes to calming the mind. Passion flower is known for potentially easing anxiety and promoting better sleep.
Which is crucial when you're dealing with depression or grief.
Couldn't agree more. Sleep deprivation definitely doesn't help.
No, not at all. And there are lots of ways to take it, too. Teas, tinctures, even supplements. Okay, last but not least, we have holy basil. I've also heard it called tulsi. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. Holy basil or tulsi is another amazing adaptogen, and it's super important in Ayurveda.
Got it.
Think of it this way. Starting your day with a cup of holy basil tea, or even adding some fresh leaves to your meals, it's like infusing your day with a sense of calm and resilience.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so before we move on, I want to take a step back and talk more about adaptogens in general. Why are they so important when it comes to things like grief and depression?
That's a great question. You know what's fascinating about adaptogens is they don't just target specific symptoms, they actually work on a deeper level by strengthening your ability to handle stress. And when you think about it, stress plays a huge role in so many emotional challenges.
So instead of just putting a Band-Aid on the problem, adaptogens help you build up your inner strength so you can deal with whatever life throws at you.
Exactly. It's about empowering your body to cope better and find that inner balance.
It's like building up your emotional immune system.
I like that.
That's a powerful way to think about it. It's interesting, as we've been talking about these herbs, it seems like a lot of them are good for anxiety too, not just depression or grief.
That's a really good observation. And it makes sense when you think about it. Anxiety, depression, grief, they're all kind of intertwined. Anxiety often goes hand in hand with depression and grief. Sometimes it even comes first.
So it's like they're all connected.
Exactly. And many of these herbs, by helping you feel more calm and relaxed, can actually help untangle that web of emotions.
Oh, I see. So by easing anxiety, you create space for healing on a deeper level. That makes a lot of sense. Now, I'm also curious about potential side effects. I know the article stressed talking to a doctor, but are there general things to be aware of?
Well, herbs are generally considered gentler than pharmaceuticals, but that doesn't mean they can't have side effects or interact with other things you're taking.
Right.
It's like anything else. Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
I hear that.
For example, some herbs can make you drowsy, so you wouldn't want to take those before driving.
Yeah, good point.
And like we talked about earlier, some herbs can interact with medications. That's why it's so important to talk to your doctor.
Got it. Safety first.
Always.
As we're talking about all this, I'm wondering where herbalism fits in with modern mental health care.
So that's a really interesting question. I think there's been a growing interest in more holistic and natural approaches.
I've definitely noticed that.
It's all part of this idea of integrative health, where people are looking to combine conventional medicine with other things like herbalism.
So it's not about one or the other. It's about having more options.
Exactly, because what works for one person might not work for another. It's about finding what resonates with you.
That makes sense. Okay, let's bring this back to our listener. Let's say someone is feeling overwhelmed by stress, grief, or just down. What's a practical first step they can take to explore these herbs?
I would say start by doing a little research. Read more about the herbs we talked about today, the ones that really piqued your interest.
Okay.
Maybe learn about their traditional uses, the potential benefits, any precautions.
Right.
And then I would definitely recommend talking to a qualified herbalist or a naturopathic doctor. They can help you figure out which herbs might be right for you and guide you on how to use them safely and effectively.
That's great advice. And remember, start small. You don't have to change everything overnight.
Exactly.
Maybe try incorporating just one herb into your routine, like a chamomile tea before bed or a lavender bath,
Those are great ideas.
and then see how you feel. Go from there.
I love that approach.
It's amazing to think that these plants have been used for centuries to help people cope with life's challenges. It really is remarkable.
It's like we're tapping into this ancient wisdom and the healing power of nature.
Beautifully said.
So as we wrap up this part of our herbal journey, what's one key takeaway you want to leave our listener with?
I think the most important thing to remember is healing is a journey. It's not a destination.
That's a good one.
It's about taking small steps, exploring different approaches, and honoring your own unique path.
I love that.
And never underestimate the power of nature to support you along the way.
So well said. Now, we talked about a lot of different herbs and their potential benefits. But I'm curious, what about creating personalized blends? Is that something people do?
Oh, absolutely. Combining herbs can create this synergy. It's like creating a custom formula just for you.
Interesting.
But of course, this is where working with a qualified herbalist is really important. They can help you create a safe and effective blend, one that addresses your individual needs.
It's like having your own personal herbal apothecary.
Yeah. Okay, this is all so fascinating. But before we move on, I want to make sure we touch on sustainability.
Ah, yes, that's a crucial point.
As we all become more aware of our impact on the planet,
Yeah.
is there anything we need to keep in mind when it comes to sourcing and using these herbs?
Absolutely. Sustainability is key. When sourcing herbs, look for suppliers who are committed to ethical and sustainable practices.
Okay.
That means responsible harvesting methods, so we can make sure the plants are healthy for the long term and that we're protecting the ecosystems they come from.
So it's about being conscious consumers,
Exactly.
making choices that support both our own well-being and the health of the planet.
It's all about finding that balance.
I love that. Okay, so before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. Imagine you could create your own personal blend of these healing herbs. Which ones would you choose and why? What kind of emotional support would you be looking to create for yourself? Take a moment to envision that blend and the unique qualities it would bring to your life. Welcome back. It's the final part of our herbal deep dive. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired after exploring all these amazing
Me
plants.
too. Nature is pretty incredible, right?
So,
Yeah.
I keep thinking about that question you left us with about creating our own personalized blend of herbs.
Oh, yeah.
I was kind of playing around with different combinations in my head.
What kind of blend did you come up with?
Well, I tend to get a lot of racing thoughts and anxieties, especially at night.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, chamomile and passion flower would be a must for relaxation and sleep, and maybe a touch of lavender for the calming aroma.
That sounds lovely and really effective. And what about you, dear listener? What herbs are calling to you? Maybe you're drawn to rhodiola for resilience, or St. John's wort for a mood boost, or maybe you're envisioning a blend that's totally unique, something for energy, focus, emotional balance. Whatever you create, remember, it's a reflection of your own needs and a powerful reminder that healing is a journey.
Beautifully said. And I think that sums up this deep dive perfectly. It's about recognizing the power of nature to help us feel better and taking an active role in our own healing.
Exactly. Whether you decide to explore these herbs further or just appreciate them from a distance, the important thing is to honor your own path and embrace the resources that speak to you.
So true. Nature offers us so much support. It's up to us to discover what works best for us. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey. Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep taking care of yourselves.